Ba weep, grana weep, nini bong. I'm Engineer Hoist. Welcome to the stream where we talk about Transformers Earth Wars news and various other Transformers topics. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified anytime we go live. And if you want to get here early, Wednesday, 8 o'clock, I usually put this scheduled up a little bit early so you can come and join the chat like these folks over here. Actually, it's that way on the screen. We've got Monkey Man, Shark C, Gen 1 Red Alert I saw in here, Sailed Tomcat 84, Big D, Destroyer Fire Rage, Pete Francis Jr., Luke Bartell, let's see, Aiden Robinette, Jonathan Carrillo, lots of good people that we see every single time. Thank you guys for continuously showing up every single time we go live. It is much appreciated. Now, with that said, let's go ahead and get to the Transformers Earth Wars news if this button works for me. Okay, so this weekend's event is called Sharp Edges. Big Bronze Ribbons in the house in Grand Galvatron. Good to see you guys. Alright, so yeah, Sharp Edges. This is an Alliance event. So gather your Alliance mates and take part in this weekend's event to win up to 3 million Energon and Alloy, up to 30,000 Spark, up to 3,000 Premium Shards, up to 600 5-star shards. There you go. We got a 5-star event here, guys, and then up to 60 Guardian Crystals. Each of them has the possibility of getting 3, 4, or even more 5-star shards. Okay, so this is an Alliance Prestige event. There are 60 Prestiges, and you can get triple XP during this event. How do you participate? Just like every other Alliance event, you have to be headquarters level 4 so you can join up an Alliance, and then you tap that yellow event button, select the battle zone, win your prizes, gather battle points, all of that fun stuff. The battle zones are the standard battle zones, and the totalizer prizes per prestige, it's 8,000 points per prestige. You start off winning some alloy, then some premium shards, then some energon, some 5-star shards, spark, more 5-star shards, more premium shards, and finally a Guardian Crystal. And these come at those quantities about every 1,000 points that the Alliance earns. Okay, and so for the Guardian Crystal, we've seen these before, but in case you have forgotten or if you're new to the game, these are the prizes you can win: 50, 25, or 10 5-star shards. As you can imagine, being the big prize, those are rare to find in these crystals. You could also get 50, 25, or 10 4-star shards, and then 75, 50, or 25 3-star shards. So, there you go. Okay, so obviously, I've been kind of out of action for a couple of weeks, so I didn't really have a chance to talk about these squad cores or whatever, but that's okay. Alpha Prime and Sunstreaker Wozza took care of you, and each of them put up some good videos. I believe they were also shared in the newsletter this week, so if you get the newsletter, you should get the links to those videos. If you didn't get the newsletter, check the link down in the description of this stream, because I shared the links to those videos as well. So yeah, go check those out about the squad cores, and honestly, I haven't even really looked at them too much. I do know that the whole idea behind the squad core is that you put it on a bot, and that bot gets a certain benefit, just like in normal power core, but it also provides a benefit to every other bot on your squad. Sometimes it might be limited to it only improves the aerial bots, or it only improves the gunners, or something like that. So each of the different squad cores, you have to look at those, and these guys do cover that type of intricacies with these squad cores. And it got me thinking that this would actually be this type of a model would actually be a really good thing to do to improve that Nexus Prime core. That's the one that if you put that on a bot and deploy them in the field, when you use a combiner, it improves the combiner, but the bot itself gets nothing. So I would love to see them be able to improve that Nexus Prime core and do something like these squad cores with that, to where that bot still does get some benefit, because I know a lot of people, including people in our alliance, who got the Nexus Prime core and they don't even have a combiner, making that completely worthless to them. So hopefully that they'll take this model And I did suggest it. I'm not sure if they saw it. I didn't really push it hard. But I did say, hey, this would be a great thing to do for that Nexus Prime core. Anyway, moving on. We also got some new defensive cores, for your buildings on your base, including cores for buildings that didn't have power cores yet, including these two here. These are power cores that you can put on your beam laser. One of them, the first one is Cybertronian Beam, where it increases the range of the beam laser by a percentage, and then the longer the beam stays on a target, the more damage it inflicts, up to a percentage if interrupted. This is very similar to that, what do they call it, the Luxon Disruptor on the raid bases, the big beam laser. It basically turns your beam laser to behave similar to the Cybertronian beam laser, the big one. Now, it does make me think, I was just thinking about this. If you put this on, does it, a beam laser, does that make it a Cybertronian type of a thing, so that the Cybertron Jetfire and Cybertron Starscream attack ability causes more double damage to this beam laser with this equipped? Don't know. That might be something worth asking. But because it does indeed, that whole description is just like those raid-based beam lasers. Okay, so the next one is the slowed down photon. Also for the beam laser, it increases the attack range of the beam laser by a percentage, and then it also slows down the opponents the walking and attack speed also by a percentage. Now, usually when it says by a percentage, that's usually the thing that increases when you level it up. That's why they don't give a specific number. So basically what this does is not only do you damage the bot that you actually have targeted, it slows them down so they're not going to be able to inflict as much damage on the rest of your base. Plus also the other defenses might be able to hit them more. So these are actually pretty cool. Now I see Sharksy saying something about the shock towers. Nice segue into these two cores. The first one is the Thunderstorm, where the range of the shock tower is increased by a percentage, but the damage is reduced also a little bit. So that makes sense. I can't remember, but I want to say there's some other power core out there, like the I want to say on one of the mortars or the missile launcher, where it does increase the range, but it reduces the damage. So it's kind of a give and take. So it you basically, if you increase the range, what that's going to do is it probably is going to increase the range so that the gunner cannot just sit outside the shock tower's range and just destroy it with taking no damage. If you put this on, the range is probably going to be expanded to where it will tag those gunners. I don't know, that's just my guess. And then the other one is also the EMP shock, where it basically does a similar thing, the same range, but in this case it doesn't just shock them, and it will actually stun them for a few seconds, but also does reduce the damage because of the shock. So that's actually pretty cool too. Between these two, I'm probably leaning towards the EMP shock. Would probably be preferable, but I would certainly put either one of them on my shock towers. I think they're both pretty darn good. Fahad SM is saying guided missiles target protocol is what I was thinking about, where it has the increased range but reduced damage. Yes, I think so. Thank you. And now this one is for a laser turret. Now we do have the anti-air laser turret power core already, but this is an additional one that you can use to that, in addition to the universal cores. And in fact, now that we can actually put these power cores on the beam laser and shock tower, I wonder if the universal cores will work on them as well, including like the attack or the defense core. My guess is probably yeah. So anyway, back to this one, the laser ricochet. This one is taking cues from Laser Optimus and Armada Megatron, because the damage of the laser turret is not only increased, but the laser bounces to a second target, dealing a percentage of the first hit. So that's actually pretty cool. So just like the anti-air laser deals some crazy amount of damage in the air to aerial bots, and especially Swoop and Scourge. Man, I've had my Swoop taken down so fast in Tigerhawk because of those anti-air lasers. And in fact, I had some anti-air lasers on my base, and I took down a very high-level Scourge just not too long ago. And it helped me get a win, a defensive win, very rare to come by. But anyway, but the problem with that is it does nothing to anybody on the ground. Basically, it ignores anybody on the ground. This one is kind of to counter that, where I would imagine it still targets bots in the air, but it also does boost the damage on the ground. So you have a building-specific core for the laser turret if you want to defend against the ground, if you're not worried about any kind of air attacks. And they did say all 5 of these new defensive cores will be available via duplicate bots starting later next week, just in time for Easter. Okay, so there you go. The new bot is revealed. We talked about this in my last stream, where it was the crystal cracking video about a week and a half ago. We talked, it was a big hitter, D-faction mercenary. I was thinking it was going to be double dealer, because that makes a whole lot of sense, but no, we're going with Impactor. Impactor. So some of you guys were guessing Impactor, and those of you guys who guessed Impactor, guess what? You win. No prize other than my utmost admiration and respect. but yeah, good. So good guesses on Impactor. And after reading the story that they've got to go along with this, which we'll see on the next slide, I'm okay with this and understand where they're coming from with calling him defactioned and stuff like that. Even though I still kind of think of him as an Autobot, we'll go ahead and go with that. Let's get to the story. So, the next bot coming into the game will for sure make an impact during your attacks. You see what they did there? Impact. Anyway. Okay, so like Gnaw before him, Impactor is a faction-agnostic mercenary. Basically, what that's saying is both Autobots and Decepticons will be able to have Impactor on their squads. Once the leader of the legendary Wreckers, Impactor is now a defactioned bot without allegiance. He went too far, was how the Tribunal put it after Impactor brutally suppressed a scavenger attack on the colony world of Velocitron. But Impactor was unapologetic, accusing his accusers of not being willing to do what needs to be done. He left before the verdict and now plies the trade of a mercenary, fighting wars without boundaries. From the tank cannon on his shoulder to the signature harpoon weapon that replaced his right hand, which was bitten off by a Sharkticon, Impactor is a one-bot wrecking crew in his own right. Now, I do love this story. If you guys have read Last Stand of the Wreckers, this should sound awfully familiar to you, because one of the things they were trying to get after was the Equitus machine, which is basically like what they're referring to as the Tribunal here, even though they're not, they don't call it that in there. But it's basically the same thing. Whereas Impactor was he was sent off to prison, in fact, in that story, for a very similar thing. He basically executed some scavengers after they had already been caught, and because he knew that they weren't going to get justice and they'd probably just get released, and so yeah, that wasn't very good in the eyes of the Autobots, and so they threw him in prison. So this is very similar. It's not exactly like the story in The Last Stand of the Wreckers. It wasn't the main story of The Last Stand of the Wreckers, but this was the truth that was unearthed in that story. So sorry for spoilers if you haven't read it, but that book's been out for years and years by now. So, but yeah, very cool, very cool. And I do have a toy we'll take a look at of the Impactor here in a second. Okay, so also 5 stars. A lot of people had been asking, when are we going to get that next 5-star event? Well, this is it. And then even a couple months ago, Sunstreaker Wozza decided, hey, let's go do some prediction videos about what's going to be the next 5-star bot batch. So Trios Theory, Alpha Prime, Sunstreaker Wozza, and myself, and I think BioDroid even out there did some 5-star prediction videos, and I put them in a playlist that's also down in the description. If you want to go check those out now or afterwards, after it gets released, go see how well we did. But yeah, so you, as expected, just like the last time where everybody voted for Elita 1 and Lugnut, we get to go vote again. for the next 5-star batch. Most likely they'll do a similar thing like they did that time, where they'll pick the top one as the fans' choice and then select 4 other ones. So I believe the survey is live now, and it will be closed on Wednesday, April 17th, so that's a week from today. So there's a week to get out there and vote. Like I said, the link is in the description of this video. If you happen to be watching this on a replay after April 17th, well, the link's not going to be any good, but yeah. So now they did say, and this is a caveat that I took into account when I did my prediction video. Extremely powerful or recently released bots were not included in the poll. So if you when you go to that, you will find that Swoop, Starsaber, Sentius Magnus, and Malice are not options to be chosen, which is why I didn't, even though I would love to see the Swoop or Starsaber or something like that, I did not put them in there. Or did I? Did I choose Swoop? Because I think I may have said something about he may have been a game changer, but not anymore. But anyway, but Swoop's not there. So Swoop's not, and Scourge, Swoop, Scourge, you guys, there. So, but yeah, but there's still pretty much, there's still, like it says, there's still 33 bots. I didn't actually pull that list off and put that in there. So when you go look on there, you'll see it's pretty much everybody, but not quite everybody. I don't remember if Tigerhawk was in there, but I would think probably not, because they're pretty recently released, and they're pretty strong. Grand Galvatron's actually calling out Tigerhawk and Waspinator. Are they in that list? If they are, then cool, man. Those guys would be great as 5 stars. Monkey Man saying Hotspot is a good one. Yeah, I voted for Hotspot. Tantrum. Yeah, so like I said, we did do some predictions videos, so you can go check out that playlist link in the description. It's a playlist on my channel, but the cool thing about playlists is you can include videos from other channels. So we do have the videos from those other guys in that same playlist. It still gives them credit for the view if you go watch it and everything like that. But you can just start up that playlist, watch the first one, and then it will just autoplay right through all of them, so you can immerse yourself in 5-star prediction videos. Okay, and this is the off week for the official Transformers Earth Wars live stream, so no stream tomorrow, and that brings us back around the horn. Actually, let's jump over here to this Impactor. Okay, so I need to remember to actually get a grab of this so I can pull it up when I go look at it, when we actually look at it live. So kind of remember how he looks there, and we're going to go back over here to the big screen so you can see him a little bit better. But here's what they're mostly basing him on. This is the Transformers Collectors Club subscription service Impactor. The interesting thing about this, I do kind of wish he had a port where I could put this gun up on his shoulder so it looked a little bit more. And the hook is not exactly the way his hook is supposed to be. But generally he is very much like what they've done. It's not exact because the wheels are in his chest on here, but they're more on his shoulders on the other one. But let me go ahead and get him transformed into his alt mode so you can see a little bit more about why it's very, very much based on this particular figure, and why I think this is very interesting. Why this design is actually very interesting that they've gone with this. Get these legs up here, tab them together, and I think I forgot to collapse the legs up. Get out of the way. Okay, so there we go. Then we get the arm back on there, and we close this down. Okay, so there is his alt mode. Very much like what we just saw. You see there? Turn it this way. So just like down there. Now, again, his gun doesn't look exactly like that. But you know who has this alt mode? Who actually was the first bot to use this mold? It was a certain Predictabot named Rook. So I wonder, is this kind of a hint that we're going to be seeing Rook as a Predictabot? I mean, it would make sense because I think they would have used a more tank-like alt mode for Impactor as opposed to this Rook-like alt mode for Impactor. So I'm thinking that we're looking at Rook. I was at first I was thinking they were going to be going the Groove route, but I'm now that we've seen this, I'm strongly thinking we're going to be seeing Rook. Now we may actually still see Groove because again, this Defensor up here, he's got Rook as his arm, just like this, but he does have Groove as a chest minion, and that Groove is the same mold as Rust Dust. So we could still see Groove and Rook to form Defensor as it was done in Combiner Wars. This is very similar to what they did with Superion, where they had Alpha Bravo instead of Slingshot and had Power Glide as the gun. So it's still very possible that we could see the Defensor in the Combiner Wars mold configuration with Rook. Well, this is Impactor, but the Rook as a as part of the team, as well as Groove, or they may just leave Groove out. You never know. So yeah. So another couple of Impactors. Here's another one. This is actually kind of got the more of the cannon that we're seeing there. This is actually a third-party figure. Some of you guys may know, and actually his hook is more accurate to it. This is the Mastermind Creations Spartan. And oh my goodness, this is a fantastic figure. So yeah, so we've got him. The hook and the cannon look a lot more like what it's going to be, and of course, Impactor is getting a toy in the Siege line, which does have the cannon and the hook, which is more like what we're used to seeing. Even though the Collectors Club didn't have that, because see what the Collectors Club did, the way they worked, if you're not familiar, is they took existing toys. And they could pick and choose existing weapons. It doesn't have to be the same weapon that was with the toy, but nothing was new except maybe the head mold. So they got a new head mold for Impactor, but they used a Rook figure. This gun was originally RC's, and they just put an Impactor-style paint job on it. And this, I believe, is also Rook's hook, so they just included this as kind of the hook for that as well. But there was no Impactor-style hook, and they're not going to actually go and do this. Sharks is saying this is Sparta. I actually made that joke when I first got this guy because he's actually so posable. I had him on one leg with the other leg up like he's kicking somebody, and it was perfectly balanced. So there were some Impactors. One other Impactor that I have, and let's just be thankful that they did not base the Transformers Earth Wars character on this version. This is the Fall of Cybertron Impactor. I'm not joking. This is Impactor. This is the first Impactor toy, I believe, that was ever released. It does have an Impactor style head. He even has a Wreckers logo. You can't really see with the glare. It is an actual, honest to goodness, Wreckers logo there on his chest. But the colors are all off. He's orange and dark blue for some reason, as Impactor Sharksy is saying. Yeah, so and basically these guys were the Wreckers, and they were just recolors and maybe like a new head mold of the Fall of Cybertron Combaticons. But yeah, so let's just forget this guy ever happened. But yeah, so thankfully they did not base it on that guy. It was more based on this one. Corey Weaver just subscribed. Welcome. Thank you very much. Good to have you here. So yeah, so there's Impactor, and because he's a Combiner Wars style, he is actually part of a Combiner team called Wreckage, and I think I may have mentioned that once before. So now I see some of you guys there peeking back at the shelf over there. It says, look in Star Saber's hand. Yes, that is the Lollylicks bot. So Star Saber does like his lollipops. And some of you guys spotted Siege Ironhide up here on the shelf. This guy is pretty great. these side flaps on his leg do kind of come off a little bit loose. And I like how they have the little thing where you can just kind of hold his weapon. He's not shooting it, he's just kind of carrying it around. And I do like kind of displaying him like that, where he's just working. It's Austin, just subscribed. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by and being part of the stream here. So there's that. Jungle Bolt. Oh, that's right. I knew your name sounded familiar, dude. So there's Ironhide. It's actually a pretty decent transformation, and the interesting thing is, if you open this up, it's actually very hollow in there. So you could probably I don't have anything on me, but you could actually probably throw like a combiner, a Titan Master or something in there. I saw somebody actually did a configuration posted off on one of the groups where he was kind of upside down. I can't do it, but he had like Ironhide's head tucked in here and turned around like it was like a G1. He was all short, the arms were all weird and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't think of it until now, otherwise I would have grabbed that picture because it's hilarious. Got another guy up here too who's kind of blended in. Amazing this Soundwave is. He is about as perfect of a Soundwave as I've ever seen outside of the Masterpiece Soundwave. He's got Ravage in his chest. He's got Laserbeak up here, and it's perfect because how the Siege figures have these little ports all over the place, and Laserbeak, you can actually flip up his legs and fold down a port, so it's perfect for sitting there on his arm. He's got the little thing button that pops open, and his alt mode isn't a tape deck. I think I saw MGO figure something out, but he had to remove his arms or something. It's like, okay, yeah, whatever. I'm not going to do that. So he does turn it into kind of a spaceship or whatever, and it's pretty cool. And there is kind of a secret mode they don't give you the instructions for, but apparently it's the one in the black light, and also in the bottom of the box, one of the flaps is like his light pole mode. Where like in the very first episode where he's kind of standing outside the Autobot base, and he just kind of turns into the light pole, like with his arms on the outside, and he just barely transforms, and he goes and talks, and then he turns back into the light pole. Apparently you could do that with this guy. I haven't done it myself yet. And I knew he could do it because in the very first reveal of the Siege figures, in the diorama that they did, they actually kind of took this figure, put it in that mold, painted it up black to kind of hide it in there. But if you had sharp eyes, you would have seen this figure in that light pole mode in the very first reveal of the Siege figures in that diorama. So yeah, we also got Starscream too. Starscream, this guy's pretty darn good too. I don't have him on my account, otherwise we'd show him off there too. But look, this is exactly what they made the Cybertron Starscream be in the game. Both this mode and the other one, including the chest on the back of the jet. And if you have seen any other reviews or chatter about his chest, it's true. It has affected me too, where when in transformation the chest just pretty much comes off without hardly any effort at all. But also what people are saying is, the rest of that is also very true, that when you get it transformed fully into vehicle mode or fully into robot mode, that chest is solid. So it's only terrible when you're transforming it because it comes off, so just consider it a parts former. Pretend that it's supposed to come off and then put it back on at the end when he's done, because it is solid when it is in this vehicle mode. It is solid when it is in robot mode. Okay, so there we go. Sharksy's saying, I want Thundercracker. Yes, I'm pretty sure they're making a Thundercracker. I'm pretty sure they're going to make a Skywarp of this as well. Let's see. Aiden's asking, can you make a video about the worst team possible? Well, that's easy. It's all 1 stars. So, but I mean, I'll tell you now. If you you could probably do a pretty good job with any bot that you'd want if you use them right. Like you for example, you could take obviously you're going to want to say dust up and sea spray, things like that. So, so you probably know who's going to be on there. The bots that you hardly ever use, they'll probably be on there. Sharksy saying 1 stars are the best. Okay, brother. Okay. Man, I can't tell you, when I was first starting this game, I was like, oh yeah, cool. Storm Clash came through because we just got the Torchbearers, the Rust Renegades. It was 1 star. I'm looking back how big of a deal I make about these 1 stars, and I was so disappointed when I got Storm Clash. Okay, here we go. Okay, we got her to level 10. Okay, we're gonna research. This is cool. We got her. Okay, we're at level 20. Let's go to research. And I'm like, why can't I research this bot? She's at the level 20. Then that's when I realized 1 star's max at 20, just like Destroyer Fire Rage says. And I will tell you, I was living his name when I found that out. Just some serious fire rage. I was like, what? So I'm done with this? So yeah, so fortunately 2 stars are also actually pretty easy to come by, and they're good to level 40, which can take a little while. 3 stars and 4 stars and 5 stars also, I'll go all the way to 60, so you got plenty of stuff. Yeah, Game Guru, if you go check the link in the description, there's a 5-star prediction playlist. I've got my predictions down there: Sunstreaker, Wozza, Alpha Prime, Trias Theory. A couple months back, we all did prediction videos of who's going to be in the 5 stars. So yeah, once we're done here, head on down there and go and take a little time and enjoy some prediction videos there. It's pretty interesting how we all we all kind of hit on similar ones, but overall it was a little bit different there. So, yo, I got some crystals to crack. Kind of got sidetracked by the toys a little bit, but I know. Wait, there's going to be cores coming out. There's going to be. I don't care. Well, I'll be getting more crystals. It's all good. It's all good. So apparently we did get the Bronze Squad core, so let's go ahead and crack that open. This is the Medical Command Flak Jacket, which increases the healing done by the bot equipped by 0.5% and reduces damage by 3% from mortars and missile launchers for all the other medics. So, yeah, I don't see myself ever using that one. Number one, because it's bronze, and I've got nice gold cores for all of my other medics. One of them might have a silver core, but I also don't run multiple medics on my teams. That would really only be good if you're one of those people. And I know people do it, and people like doing it. It would really only be good to if you're running more than one medic. Let's see. Now, so these are VIP. Well, I completed a 4-star crystal, and the rest of these are VIP gifts from last week. So here's some Guardian crystals. They actually gave us some Guardian crystals. So these are the crystals that we're actually going to be competing for in this weekend's event. So, but I've got 10 of them early. So let's go crack some shards. There's some 5-star shards there. 4-star shards. More 4-star shards. You guys are arguing over Rook and Groove. They're both good. They're both good. Some more 5-star shards. That's nice to see. Shards, and last one. It's some 3-star shards. Okay, very cool. Okay, so Aiden's asking, do you think there will be wreckage in the game? No, not at all. Not since they're making Impactor the defactioned, where he's the mercenary, does on both sides. Absolutely not will they do wreckage in the game, because that whole storyline, first of all, it's a collection club figure, and it's kind of a little bit of everything. And I did check when I was talking about it last time. I couldn't remember. It's definitely Impactor, Counterpunch, who was a Decepticon. We talked about the whole story about it last time. Toxitron, who was a Decepticon clone of Optimus Prime. Fractal, who was a Predacon, and and I couldn't remember the last one. I thought it was Blue Streak, and I was right. It's Blue Streak. So one former Autobot in Impactor, one Autobot in Blue Streak, a Predacon, and 2 Decepticons. There's no way they're going to be able to pull that off in the game. So no, I don't see Wreckage at all ever coming into this game. Okay, so let's open some Decepticon Premium Crystals. See what we can get. We got Bombshell. Straxus. Interesting that for some reason when they put out the toy they couldn't get the name Straxus, so they called the toy Darkmount, which is the name of his fortress in the comics. There's Scrapnel. And that character of Straxus in the game does look exactly like that toy. This is Skywarp? Yeah. It's hard to tell. Skywarp and Thundercracker, it's always hard to tell when they're in that hologram form. There's Galvatron. Looks like another Skywarp. Beast Wars Megatron. Oh, that masterpiece Beast Wars Megatron just got released. A lot of people are picking it up. I haven't watched any videos of it yet, but I've got mine. It's in my stack. I still need to ship it. There's Blitzwing. Last Decepticon Crystal gives us a tease, and then it gives us a 2-star Black Arachnia. Alright, some Autobot Premium Crystals. Sentius Magnus. Ratchet. Skydive. RC. Sea Spray. Matterhorn, Matterhonk. There's Sunstreaker. Oh, thinking about it. Oh, it's giving us a duplicate Sludge. 3 more of these. Gives us a Skydive. Got a Slug. And the last premium crystal is a duplicate Smokescreen. Alright. Now I did see this number pop up over here. I'm thinking that's a 3-star crystal. Indeed it is. So we'll get it out for our Decepticons. It's probably still going to be a duplicate, but we'll find out. Indeed it is. It is an Astro Train. Duplicate 3-star Astro Train. Now time for the 4-star crystal. And yes, indeed, this is an Autobot 4-star crystal. It could be a new 4-star, but most likely is going to be some 5-star shards and maybe a gold core. Let's cross our fingers for a good core if that's what it's going to be. 3, 2, 1. Duplicate Alpha Bravo. Does give us plenty of Combiner Spark. Ooh, and a gold Ray Boosters. That is a very nice core. I can't recall if I need that because I know I've got the G1 Ratchet core. I think I need that. I think that I could totally use that. Let's go check out these bot cores. Okay, so Medic. Yes, so right now I've got my 4-star Wheeljack is just using a silver Ray Boosters. Guess what, Wheeljack? You're gonna be upgraded to a gold Ray Boosters, my friend. Put it on First Aid. First Aid's already got a gold Ray Boosters. Wheeljack was stuck with just a silver Ray Boosters. Wheeljack's going to be getting this gold one because we do not have a gold Wheeljack power G1 power core. we do have the gold Ratchet G1 power core, so he's got his ray boosters already by virtue of having this G1 core. But yes, indeed, that ray boosters power core was a good pull there. So Monkey Man saying G1 Ratchet has no head. If you're talking about the toy, yes indeed, G1 Ratchet and Ironhide do not have heads. That's because they came from, if you're not familiar with the history, the reason for that is because the Transformers actually were based on a few different Japanese toy lines, but one of the bigger ones was the Diaclone toy line. And the story that they originally created for those toys was not that they were sentient robots, but that they were piloted. They were just machines that were piloted by a person. And so that's why they didn't need a head for that. And that's why in those toys, you had that seat there behind the windshield. So that's where the pilot would sit to control that robot. So that's kind of the story behind the Diaclone. And yeah, there was definitely some Microman toys. Those were like the Bumblebee, the little penny racer type ones. That's why some of the Transformers, some of them like Prowl and Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, looked very more realistic than like Cliff Jumper and a lot of the mini bots, because they were very squashed and not very realistic and weren't really in the same scale. It's because they were originally two different toy lines, and Hasbro took little bits of each of them and brought them together into the Transformers and made them all a single toy line here in the United States and other places around the world under the Transformers brand. So that's kind of the history of that. If you happen to have Netflix, there's an episode of the Toys That Made Us, I think is what it's called, devoted to Transformers. And I think pretty sure they do actually cover that kind of a history in there. It's if you're a Transformers fan, it's well worth watching that, at least that episode. And especially if you're kind of my age and you grew up in that 80s era. Or if you're just interested in like the history of toys, it's worth watching the other episodes, because they talk about Star Trek toys, Star Wars toys, G.I. Joe, Hello Kitty, Barbie. Some of that stuff's actually really interesting. I mean, I never played with Barbies. I'm never going to play with Barbies, but I found that Barbie episode actually pretty interesting. So yeah, definitely the Toys That Made Us on Netflix. Go check it out. If nothing else, go watch the Transformers episode. Monkey Man saying if you have a G1 mini bot, they might have the Microman logo. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like an original G1, not these reissues that they just put out. Because I'm pretty sure they won't have those. Jugatron over here, Corey's asking, how close are we in age? I couldn't tell you because I don't know how old you are. I'm low in my low 40s. Let's just say that. I was definitely the target audience. I was like the prime target audience for the Transformers when they came out in 1984. Yeah, 2 years. 2 years. So yeah, it was good times or whatever. A few other figures. Monkey Man will probably like this one. Got you a Chromia here. She's not coming in the game as I ever heard, but this is a Siege Chromia. Just got her open today. Haven't really done anything. I am disappointed, and I knew it was going to be this way. But I am disappointed that she's not a combiner like the others, because it would have been so great to be able to take all of these female Transformers and combine them with Elita 1 to kind of just make I think it would be cool to be able to get her. And then what is it? Green Light, I think, is another one, like an exclusive coming out in the Siege line. I think is a recolor of Chromia here. And so with Nova Star and Moonracer already can combine with Elita 1. If you could have had those Chromia and the Green Light, I mean, that would have been like the perfect female combiner or whatever. And let's see, who else came in that wave? Prowl. So he's kind of washed out because he's all white and everything like that. But you know, when I saw the images of this guy online, didn't look that impressive to me. I was like, he's not that great. I'll get him because that's what I do. But getting him in hand, he's actually pretty good. He's actually really good. It looks way better when you have him in hand than he does in any picture online, especially right now because he's just basically a white blob. But yeah, not very good demonstration right there. Oh, Monkey Man saying Green Light still has the combiner parts? Oh, okay, well that's interesting. Then why not? Why didn't Chromia? Tell me, Monkey Man, why doesn't Chromia have them? I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding, dude. I'm just kidding. All right. Oh yeah, the last one from that wave with those guys is Six Gun. He's another one that I just got out of the package, so I haven't really done a whole lot with him. In fact, it took me a while just to figure out how to get him to stand. Yeah, but so yeah, that's pretty cool. I haven't transformed him or even taken him apart or anything like that. Now the interesting thing is I did actually get one of those third-party Six Guns. I got the TFC. They didn't even give him a name. It was just a Gears of War set or whatever. But he's a Six Gun. He's that one. He's got like the big Popeye arms. He's just the forearms are just huge or whatever. And I think it's fantastic. And but I'm still happy to have like an official Six Gun there. So let's see. Oh, we got some replays. Okay, so we'll go do a replay here. So this is John Beekman's replay. What do we got going on here? We've got Springer, we've got Cosmos, Cheetor, Windblade, Sensus Magnus, Alita 1, and Wheeljack. We're just taking a walk, leisurely stroll. Oh, there goes Alita 1. Oh, nice double tap up there by the headquarters. And then send Springer racing after. That's a very good strategy there. And I see they put Nemesis Prime in an outpost. That's one of the worst spots you can put in an outpost because the special ability does nothing. Guys, don't ever put Nemesis Prime or Hot Rod in an outpost. But yeah, he's doing pretty good, and Wheeljack's pretty nice and safe there because that mortar is not going to target him. And yeah, Alita 1 is taking some serious damage, but Wheeljack is saving her life. Yeah, you got Springer there, and yeah, this should be a pretty easy win for you. Especially now that you guys hit this match. Good job. Good job. Oh yeah, I totally forgot to put it there. Okay, well, trust me, it was very good. It was very good. Okay, well, we did the replay. We did the replay. So that's it, John. So, all right. So, if you guys want to see it, we'll go back. I'm not going to call it now. Just when you're watching this back, have the stream open on two computers. No, I'm just kidding. All right. So, like I said, we've got Springer, Cosmos, Cheetor, Windblade, Sensus Magnus, Alita 1, Wheeljack coming in here. There goes Alita 1. Boom. And a double tap. Takes out that beam laser. Yes, and then you see how the Nemesis Prime, he just kind of showed up out of the ground and did absolutely nothing and started attacking. That's why I'm saying, don't use him. Yeah, so doing pretty good. Yeah, now we got Wheeljack over there, and you got really lucky with that Alita 1. She was taking some serious damage. Look at that, almost down to nothing. If Wheeljack wasn't there, it looks like you got a Rejuvenate core maybe on her. No, you actually don't. So that's just all Wheeljack saving her life. Yeah, very cool. And then Cosmos doing that. He's trying to hack the Energon storage. Yeah, that's really good. No, you probably had him on the shock towers. I love hacking shock towers with Perceptor or Cosmos. Yeah. So there you go. There's the replay. I feel like I did the play-by-play better the first time. Yeah. That's kind of how it always goes. You do something once, then you have to do it a second time. It just never feels quite right. So I apologize for not having that. But you know what? That's live. Sometimes you forget. So you forget to do something like that. Let's see. Yeah, Sharksy's saying putting Hook, Nemesis Prime, Shockwave, or Reflector in an outpost is a sin. Yes. Yeah, I've actually been working on a couple of videos, best outpost bots and a worst outpost bots. I just have not had the time to edit them together and get that, but those guys, all that you named, are definitely on the worst outpost bots list there, so. Yeah, the last Cyan saying, am I glad that Takara took over the line, talking about the Siege figures? I'm not sure if they necessarily took it over, but they did decide between Takara, Tomy, and Hasbro that they would not be releasing separate toys. They would release a single figure in both markets. So that way, because, you know, a lot of people, they were more known for paint applications and a little bit more true to the comics or true to the cartoon coloring. So a lot of collectors would generally spend the extra, instead of spending, they could get the Hasbro version for like $15, but they'll go spend $35 for the Takara version because better paint, better coloring, and stuff like that. Well, by doing this, they don't have to do that. So they can just get the same one that's on their shelf at Target or Walmart or whatever, because it's going to be the same figure. And yeah, I think that's great that they did that. And while I agree with you, the paint and everything, the engineering does definitely seem vastly improved. I mean, Siege as a whole has greatly impressed me. Every figure that I've got from there, you know, the Battle Masters, they're tiny, small, and you know, and the Micro Masters, they're small figures. There's not a whole lot you can do with those. But all these Deluxes, Voyagers, and Leaders, and yes, those were all, they're all very, very impressive. Destroyer Fire Rage is asking, would a 5-star Windblade be a good outpost bot? Yeah, she'd be okay. She wouldn't be, would not be a terrible one. I think there's better ones, but she would be okay. She'll pop the outpost and go and do some, drop her bombs, and then she's a decent tank, but there are better ones. So not terrible. I mean, if she's the best one you got, do it. She's not a bad bot, but you know, not necessarily the best one. So yes, she would be a good outpost bot. Alrighty. Luke Bartell is asking for a suggestion on how to use Sentious Malice. You want to know what I'm using Sentious Malice for right now? Power leveling. That's pretty much all I'm using them for, is power leveling. Yeah, I can actually go show that to you guys.
Autobots, roll out!
We'll go do this real quick. So, my Skylynx is really close to level 50, so I'm kind of power leveling him. We hear you, Skylynx. Be quiet. Oh, by the way, that's another thing I need to show you guys. I got the second half of that Mastermind Creation Skylynx, and it's pretty cool. I haven't combined them yet, but yeah. All right, so this is basically what I do with Sentious Magnus, or Sentious Malice. I had that enabled for the raids, and
deploy.
I've been leaving Slash behind for right now. Oh, excuse me. So I've been focusing on just trying to get Skylynx leveled up. So I realized I had a lot of bots right near 50. So I've been wanting to try to do that. And so now Skylynx is pretty strong too. If I didn't have Skylynx, I mean, not because I had Skylynx, I could do some other things with them. But if I didn't, this would be all Sentious Magnus. I mean, you can't even hardly see in there with all the stuff that's going on. But see, I do have the Amalgamous Prime Core on Sentious Magnus, so you can see he's hardly taking any damage at all, even in the middle of all of that. And Skylynx is probably about to go down. But Sentious Magnus, you can see he's got he's just tearing it up, just absolutely tearing it up. Even that right there will probably take that beam laser out. And then from here, I'm close enough to the headquarters, I just fire that off. Now, with Sensuous Magnus, this is a 4-star, and he is level 52 now, I believe, and I think level 7 ability. So he's pretty darn high level. So that's what I do with Sensuous Magnus. That's pretty much all I've done with him. First, I started off doing that with him to level him up. Now I'm doing it to using him to help level other people up. I haven't ever actually put him on an actual regular team. But, yeah, so let's go just check him out. You can see he is second only to Star Saber right now. Yeah, level 7 is his ability. Plus, we got a level 10 Amalgamous Prime Core, so that helps heal him anytime he's in his alt mode doing that damage. So, and he's got crazy health, crazy damage already. So, yeah. Yeah, he's a tough one to beat. If you happen to have Sensuous Magnus, if you're lucky, or Malice, because the same guy basically. One's light, one's dark. But yeah, if you got those guys, consider yourself lucky. They're excellent. All right, guys. I do appreciate everybody stopping by. We had a lot of good chats, a lot of good talk. We saw the news. We saw some new bots, and we saw Impactor and a possible preview of a Protect-A-Bot Rook. I'm only just going by the fact that this is exactly Rook's alt mode. This was originally Rook, and if they're putting him in a game like this, it would make sense that they would have Rook in the game. Not to say they won't have Groove, but that's it. So I do appreciate everybody coming by. Same time next week, hopefully. I think we're at the place where we can get back to the normal streams. And that's going to do it. I'm Engineer Hoist. Keep rolling, my friends. We'll see you next time.